Yeah, you've said that a few times now.
The normal Krogan is dangerous. This one was created and likely educated by a madman.
We never broke up, by the way. We just took a break. It was like, hey, why don't we take a break from the band and everybody kind of go off and do your thing?
For the artist, these changes proved jarring.
I was
You know
lost.
what? The tank's
here
here.
we were
It's staying
for
until I
years
decide
and
what
years
to do
and
with
years
it,
and
and
years
that's
of my
that.
life.
It's your decision,
Waking up
Commander.
every morning with a
Just be
schedule
careful.
underneath my door
Noted.
where I had to be.
The cargo hold is
6
safe
a.m.
enough while I
till 2
decide what
o'clock
to
in
do
the
with
morning.
them.
And now, I wake up and I'm looking at my door and no schedule's coming through. So I'm like, "Ooh, so what do I do today?" It was really tough on me personally, but then you grow and adapt and you learn and you go, okay, well, maybe I was a little spoiled there for a while and I got to grow up and live my life now.
Carson Daly is also ready to adapt and move on from TRL.
I think I recall him just seeming like he'd been there and done that a little bit. That was the vibe I was getting. He just started to seem like he was not necessarily too stoked to be there.
Carson was in this really difficult position because he was a young man in his mid-20s. He's like,
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Everyone wants to be cool in their 20s. And he's having to do some extremely uncool things for work. And it's making him really rich, and it's making him really powerful, and it's a great career, but it also is kind of like, wah, wah. Yeah, I think he was ready to do more.
In 2002, Carson lands a late-night hosting gig on NBC. He tries splitting his time between both shows, but the following year, Carson quits TRL.
And when he left TRL, it was very clear that I was not going to fill his shoes. I wasn't a radio DJ. I didn't give a fuck about most of the artists on our show. Like, they were not my bag. So it was important that we filled that void with people who were knowledgeable.
So they ended up kind of bringing in a bunch of different hosts. There was Vanessa, there was Lala, there was Hillary, there was Damien, there was me, there was Susie Castillo, and so we all collectively replaced Carson Daly.
It turns out less might have been more. The rotating hosts don't revive the show's popularity.
It never landed the way Carson did. Carson was TRL. And so I think we had a nice second chapter, but I don't know that it ever really recaptured the magic of the Carson years.
By mid-decade, TRL's ratings have dropped 50%.
This is called user-generated content.
And a technological breakthrough is about to put TRL down for the count.
Why should I buy music? Why should I pay for music? It's all available for free.
In the early 2000s, technology changes the music biz.
Indicated.
I look at downloadable distribution and file sharing as the new radio.
Music sharing software, MP3 players, and social media sites like MySpace and YouTube start giving kids more places to go for their pop culture fix.
If you actually want to watch a music video, you can go online anytime you want. It's this on-demand culture that we now have.
TRL simply can't compete.
They didn't have to be there to watch Backstreet, NSYNC, Britney, Korn, Kid Rock at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They could watch it at any time. And I think that is the main thing that started
Beauty, isn't it?
the decline.
Pried that off the
of
Krogan
TRL.
warlord,
It's pretty
Kazak.
weird.
Used to run the blood pack out of Omega about
TRL
17
isn't just
years
losing
ago.
viewers. In
Wasn't
2003,
even
the
a
one-time
job.
DJ
The
for
guy
a
just
day
thought he'd hijacked
lands
a
a lead
freighter
role
I was
in
hitchhiking on.
WB's One Tree
Big
Hill.
mistake. I goaded Kazak into one-on-one combat.
For 2 years,
Took
Corey
out his
tries
legs,
juggling
grabbed his
both
gun, and
gigs
killed
before
every
deciding to
blood
leave
bastard in the
TRL.
room. That was the most
I
beaten
started calling it
Krogan
sick
I've ever
towards
seen.
the end of that second year.
Kept the helmet
Which
to
is like,
remind me of
guys,
that
I
paid
haven't slept in
expression.
a very long time. I think I'm having a mental breakdown, and I ended my tenure as a DJ.
A year later, Caduce
The subject
also
is
says
stable,
goodbye
Shepard.
to MTV.
Integration with onboard
I
systems
came
was
in the door
seamless.
for music television. It became something very different. Over time, I just got less and less interested in that whole
Stand Cerberus protocol is very clear regarding untested alien technology.
I won't be second-guessed on my own ship by my own ship. Do it.
Very well, Shepard. The controls are online. The switch and consequences are
You know
yours.
your partner is attracted to someone else, and then you start dressing like that person in order to keep your partner. You actually compete with a completely different beast. But when we got the star on the Walk of Fame, we asked Carson to come be one of the presenters and to speak at the ceremony.
I mean, the impact on the world to really shape almost a decade of music and what was popular.
I think we made people happy the same way that pop music can make people happy. I'd like to believe that there's still some show out there that can make the world as happy as TRL made the world. I'll let you know if I figure it out.
I'm Commander Shepard of the Normandy.
Not your name. Mine. I'm trained. I know things. But the tank, O'Keefe couldn't implant connection. His words are hollow. Warlord, Legacy, Grunt. Grunt was among the last. It has no meaning. It'll do.
In the early
I am
2000s,
Grunt.
a tenacious
If you
TV
are worthy of
analyst
your command, prove your strength and try to destroy me.
launches TMZ, a show business website meant to dial the heat up by bringing celebrities down.
You got some guy screaming in your face with a camera in your face.
Try to kill you?
Want.
They did this to Britney because
I
they
do what
wanted
I'm
her
meant
to
to.
yell at them. They wanted
Fight
her
and
to
reveal
know.
the strongest.
That's what sells.
Nothing in the tank ever asked what I want. I feel nothing for O'Keefe's clan or his enemies. That imprint failed. He has failed.
A battle is
Without a
fought on the
reason that's
radio.
mine, one fight is as good as any other.
The
Might
title
as well
of most
start with you.
outrageous personality.
Shock jocks basically turned radio around. Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony.
Look at the lovely teen girls. Shock jock humor was what can I say to make you cringe?
I took you and I released you. Follow my command and you'll have purpose.
Nothing in the tank imprints indicated humans could be so forceful.
But as the country
You
approaches the new
commanders have earned
millennium,
it.
Radio in that era
My
was
enemies
like pro
threaten
wrestling, okay?
galaxies. Everyone on my ship has earned their
shock
place.
jocks go to war.
Yeah, you tell Mancow to come on the air with them.
That's acceptable.
Funeral coming for you, you
I'll fight for you.
I'm glad you saw reason.
Howard Stern is at war again.
Howard just dug
Offer
into
one
a
hand
full-scale
and the
attack.
other.
People in
Why,
radio,
Shepard?
it's kill or be killed.
If I find
It's
a
a
clan,
fight between radio's
find
biggest
what I-
stars.
Those two
I
idiots,
want.
Opie and Anthony.
I will be honored to eventually pit them against you.
There will be casualties.
It was unbelievable.
Shepard,
Just checking in. Making sure.
humans talk too much.
That's
Like
all for now.
Shepard.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
By the 2000s, Howard Stern's $100 million contract with Infinity Broadcasting is proof that video has not yet killed every radio star.
Howard had a following of over 16 million people at his peak.
Once you start listening to this, it's like you will be addicted.
And as Stern makes the jump to an even more lucrative deal in satellite radio,
This is the dawn of the new beginning. God bless Sirius Radio.
he's not looking to share the wealth or the spotlight, especially not with his two biggest competitors on radio, Opie and Anthony.
Sirius came to me. They said, if it means having to give you up, we would never hire them. Fucking liar, Howard. Why don't you tell the fucking truth? You fucking old lady with the tight curls on TV with the hip-hop clothes at 55 fucking years old?
They were ruthless. There was no limits. They would just keep pushing.
To understand the shock jock wars of the 2000s, we need to dial it back to the 80s. Stern's early days in Washington, D.C., as a young DJ willing to stretch the boundaries past the breaking point.
This is gossip. You know who I am? I'm Howard Stern. I'm on the radio. I don't play by the rules. I don't play by the rules, baby. Why am I different from other DJs? Yeah. I fart on the air. You ever listen to my show, Howard Stern Show?
Yes.
You do? You like it?
Not particularly.
No, what don't you like about it?
You're rather crude. Years of playing it safe at radio stations in Hartford and Detroit, Howard Stern finds his voice in the nation's capital. His ratings at DC 101 earned the 28-year-old a 5-year, $1 million contract to bring his brand of radio to afternoons on WNBC.
Howard Stern makes his living abusing and attacking anyone and anything.
Howard Stern was dirty. And he was kind of insulting. But even more than that, he was intelligent. Unlike Harrison, and in the 2000s, I was owning radio stations, on the radio, programming stations.
Welcome to the Purgatory,
magazine.
Shepard. Your package is being prepped and you can claim it shortly. As this is a high-security vessel, you'll need to relinquish your weapons before we proceed.
Howard Stern.
I'll relinquish one bullet. Where do you want it?
Everyone stand down. Commander, I'm Warden Kirill, and this is my ship. The weapons will be returned on the way out. You must realize this is just a standard procedure.
I'm not surrendering my gun. Period.
Thrilling listeners since the 70s. Imus became a big hit.
Let them proceed. Our facility is more than secure enough to handle 3 armed guests. We're bringing Jack out of cryo. As soon as the funds clear, you can be on your way. If you'll follow me to out-processing for the pickup, Commander.
Let's go.
And he had all kinds of shtick that went along with it that stretched the boundaries of good taste and maybe even the law.
Cell Block 2. As you can see, we keep tight control over the population.
John Imus was a flaming asshole. I wouldn't use Donald runs on Imus' show when I was a kid. I called in, I was like 8 years old.
Each prisoner's cell is a self-contained modular unit.
Listen, you little jerk.
I've blown a few out the airlocks as an example.
And I'm going, oh,
the ship is made up of 30 cell blocks identical to this one.
Imus was a dick to me.
We house thousands of criminals.
By the time Stern joins WNBC,
we can put the whole place in lockdown on a moment's notice.
Earning $500,000 a year.
Nothing goes wrong here.
WNBC radio's Don Imus. Boundaries of good. Imus became a big hit because he just sounded strong. He sounded like a bad boy version of a DJ.
It's 8:21, 19 July. I'm Stone and Rob's Stone.
Imus in the morning, he had that sound. And he had all kinds of shtick that went along with it that stretched the boundaries of good taste and maybe even the law.
Can you tell me about Jack?
Cerberus hasn't told you? Jack is the meanest handful of violence and hate I've ever encountered. Dangerous, crazy, very powerful. You'll see soon enough.
They have stepped on the toes of a few people.
The station sells Stern and Imus as their dynamic duo. But behind the scenes, Imus increasingly sees Stern as his arch enemy.
Let's get on with this.
I bet people try pretty hard to get out.
We're in space. They have nowhere to go, and they know it. But still, we exercise extreme caution. These are dangerous individuals. We have many ways to control the population.
I can tell you that. My name's Steve
I'm going to confirm that the funds from Cerberus cleared.
I was his favorite
Our
intern.
processing is straight down this
famous for
hallway.
getting his baked potato and being
Just keep going past the interrogation rooms and the Supermax wing.
Howard Stern's not personally an asshole. Like, once he's off the air, you know, he was always
I'll catch up with you later.
When he was ratings driven, he wanted to be number one.
I'm just a broken. Such a bad radio performer that it took me to come into this town, blow away all his ratings, and now he changed his act to resemble Molly.
It was incredibly vicious, giving Imus a hard time. And Imus went to the powers that be and said, I don't want that afternoon guy talking about me. So Howard was not allowed to talk about him, which made him crazy. I'm Jackie the Joke Man Marley. I was with
Is there something I can do for you? He certainly does.
Over here. John, Fred Norris, and Gary Papa-Booey Delabate. The first time I walked into that show, we sat there and laughed for 4 hours. He said, why don't you come in again next week? I said, sure. And I was there for 20 years.
How you doing there, Michael Jackson?
I had no limit.
Now processing's through the door on the far side of the room.
I started slipping him notes with jokes. He said, don't ever edit. Write down whatever comes to your mind and let me judge. That was probably the only real...
My apologies, Shepard. You're more valuable as a prisoner than a
but
customer.
The Federal Communications Commission does have rules.
Drop your weapons and proceed into this open cell. You will not be harmed.
About obscene and indecent content.
I don't care about the FCC. I just care about Howard Stern getting on and saying what he wants. I'm not disgusting. I'm not dirty. I'm not
Go to hell. I'll send you there myself.
Things we figured out other ways to say it, like, you know, blank. A doodle doo. Blank a doodle doo. How would you fill that in?
Cock a doodle doo. You can't say cock when you call it a cock, but if you call it a cock as a bird, you can say cock. And then you had lesbians on.
Now, Maria, you're taking everything off except your underwear. Should I? And it's coming off now, guys.
This was like Studio of the Mind. You couldn't see it. They started calling Howard the shock jock because they didn't have a place to put him. And eventually, despite Howard's huge ratings, NBC decides where they don't want to put him is on their flagship radio station.
As of today, WNBC has canceled the Howard Stern program because of conceptual differences that exist between Howard Stern and WNBC management.
The next day, in a segment we call The Heart of the Matter, we thank to discuss the selection of Howard Stern condemns himself on a local TV news show. I have huge ratings.
Everything's in analyzing, gee, how far can you hide it? This is entertainment. People deserve a huge audience for what I do. Taking care about it. Thanks about it. We're raising people for AIDS.
He then goes on Late Night with David Letterman to explain why he thinks he was fired.
The chairman of the board heard me doing bestiality the other day, and the guy got bent out of shape.
Put them down!
Never do that. When sitting down for the dog, I think that's
Stern is down, but not out. New York FM radio station K-Rock hires him as their new morning man, directly against his nemesis, Don Imus. Stern is now unleashed. He didn't hold back. He spoke the truth.
He had taken the right word before he even didn't talk about it. Who did that? Some listeners call him.
Processing. Show.
They charged the practitioners like Howard Stern have turned morning prime time radio into morning slime time. When Howard said the word penis on the radio, that was a shot heard around the world. And what could be more innocent, you know? But he'd say that word and people would go berserk.
His radio show provoking a flood of protest to the Federal Communications Commission, which is now investigating the charges of obscenity and indecency.
The FCC went nuts. They listened to everything he did. They were waiting to find his ass. But you can't stop free speech. In April 1987, Stern fights back. He puts the FCC Freedom Round. The feeling was growing. Wow, this is really on fire because you started getting a hint
Need to get Jack out of the ice.
Listening. By the 90s, Stern has overtaken Don Imus as the #1 morning show in New York City. This show syndicated in dozens of cities across the nation. I was very involved in Howard Stern across the country, LA, Philadelphia, Boston, Dallas. He was just a juggernaut. And I was the senior vice president of the Howard Stern channels during the 2000s. I was hired in 1991, and I really said to myself, I want to be a part of this. The show got syndicated, and the stock went through the roof. People made millions of dollars from it. Now the man who speaks candidly and interviews about having a small penis.
Shepard is loose. Get people down here.
Has the biggest contract in radio for worth $10 million. But Howard won't be satisfied until his is the number
If we
one
hack that
morning
control,
show,
every door on the cell block opens.
Howard was
How else are we gonna get Jack out?
I mean, he was
Doing it.
ruthless.
Be ready.
As LA's two most popular radio show hosts are about to discover. By the early 90s, Howard Stern's success has filled the nation's airwaves with DJs looking to cash in on his brand of radio.
Jack is small.
It's 7:33. By succeeding in New York, Stern has become the one to imitate in radio. Come on, come up to the microphone. Come on up.
There was a little bit of shock jock in almost everybody on the radio during that period because it became clear if you didn't engage edginess, you're going to fade into the background.
Whoa, what are you, a peacock?
Two DJs who understand that.
Oh, I want to see this. Let's go.
Their KLOS FM show has ruled LA drive time radio for 5 years. But when the Howard Stern show begins airing on the competing station, KLSX, Stern predicts a prompt end to Mark and Brian's reign.
When they come and bow down before me, I will tell them what city they're allowed to go to the broadcast.
Sounds like heavy fire.
They're through in Los Angeles.
People in radio, you're bred to be competitive. It's kill or be killed.
Stern has promised his LA listeners if you became number one, come to LA.
This is valuable.
All
guards, restore order. Lethal force authorized, but don't kill Jack. Text, lockdown, lockdown.
LA is not the only city where Stern looks to vary his competition.
Sector 7, 9, and 11 have lost life support. No survivors.
John DeBella. John DeBella is the king of Philadelphia.
Open every airlock on this ship.
But he's a pompous jerk. That's just him. And then Howard just tells you full-scale attack. This is the very fella in the city of brotherly love.
When I'm looking on you, I'm going to go a hero view.
Here we go.
Once I become number one, she'll go to and sure enough, they're going to wipe the horse them. We will take a bus down to Philadelphia to the DeBella divorce party.
That was one of those magical conquests. It was one of those spikes, you know. But then it got ugly.
The third thing that I predicted was that one of the listeners would change the zookeeper's wife.
You must find another exit route.
Today. The zookeeper's wife is rich.
Warning. Power plant damage has led to overload.
Guard got swarmed by prisoners with improvised weapons. Never had a chance.
Look how cute you are. Nice body, cute face.
Once on the air, Stern coaxes Annette to reveal intimate details of her failed marriage to the zookeeper.
By the end, did you hate spreading for him?
Oh,
You did, didn't you?
I don't recall doing that at the end.
Did you ever hang a not welcome sign on your vagina? It got really bad.
Then Stern, a married father of 3, gets up close and personal with his radio rival's ex-wife.
Take a seat. Hey, zookeeper, your wife's in my lap. I'm with her now.
Here's a guy's tragedy turned into entertainment for the radio audience.
Lockdown in just 4, 7, and 8.
Just tell me what's going through your mind as I run you down. How do you like that? You really think that you do? Any big deal? You just need some gentle. Really need to look involved.
awesome.
A cardiac arrest. Miller was found unresponsive. Inside she committed suicide. You know, it's like.
That shot.
You know, but it was, yeah, it was crazy. It was vicious. And that's Dad's fuel to the
hull has been breached in sectors 12, 14, and 30. No survivors.
Months later, an NBC Dateline, Stern defends his controversy.
You haven't regretted saying? No, never. Never regretted saying it.
The FCC is less sanguine about Stern's comments and fined the owner of the Howard Show, Infinity Broadcasting, nearly $1 million for his comments about shaving pubic hair and masturbating to a phone and July. So, Parmesan was the executive that was
Through my shields!
The platforms that Howard Stern was on. She saw Howard Stern and paid the fines as part of the business. Is a movie. Stars in a nationally syndicated TV show produced by New Jersey's Channel 9 station. That Channel 9 show was crazy. We got a blank piece of paper on Monday, and we needed an hour show in the can by Friday night.
Trouble ahead.
I'm not a Star Trek person, but like that show, it was the craziest, funniest, most absurd show of all time. The Channel 9 show also features in-your-face celebrity interviews conducted by Stern's most infamous interns.
Your next thing is Hero the Stupid. Was that Anway? Hey, he's a big fan of Stern, and the reason this is really embarrassing. But when I was like a teenager, I would ask my friends if they masturbate, and my friends would all say, no, never do that. And I thought, I must be some weird motherfucker. And he talked about how he masturbated all the time. And I'm like, oh, it might not be so weird. This friend of mine was interning backwards, and I said to him, hey, if you should ever leave, please hook me up. So he, and then when Gary told Howard that, he goes, hire him. See him. By any chance, do you have accidentally in the captain's face? Who the hell are you? Stuttering John Melendez, and I worked with Howard Stern for 15 years. What you want to do with this? Opposite loves money and do with it. Whatever. Celebrities and it's too easy.
Lockdown in blocks 4, 7, and 8.
Pissed off so many people, Billy Crystal. How many units have you married to Luigi on your wedding? So you take this thing, right? And you get shove this way. Stupid ass. And you should install bumpy garments. Emergency DMT before the way any upcoming crunch scenes. Student should install. She settled that for like 30 grand.
Thanks for watching, and who knows, we might even be back next season.
Only 2 seasons of Channel 9 show scales. Soon, Stern is managing highlights. Lock field. Behind the scenes, half hour. Stuff that I love the most was Dr. John segments.
There we go!
The hull has been breached in sectors 12, 14, and 30. No survivors.
He was just saying.
Time to fight!
No. He starts last. And she starts smirking. Now stuttering. Oh, you'll be sleeping with us.
Steve starts busting it up like that's tough. All of a sudden, we went to lockdown and keeps reinventing herself, and the show gets tighter and funnier and bigger and bigger and bigger. It was crazy. It was like being on a rocket ship. It really was. Grabbing cover! By 1995, Stern's instant radio show. Selling punk right artists. Here we go.
Hard to head there.
That's where they call me King of Stern maybe hunting himself king, but there's a shot John in Chicago. He's not ready to take the knee. I am the Terminator, and I have one thing, that is to destroy.
Taking fire.
Stern is publicly in rivals in Philadelphia and LA, but his main competition in Chicago is
The hull has been breached in sectors 12, 14, and 30. No survivors.
I get a counter. Execute me and others. Yes, that would be first the idea. Here, the most smart and I'm sure the best radio. You know, I picked stupid names. He had picked me, so John has been called the Generation X. As the San Francisco DJ calling out Bill Clinton for shutting down the LA airport while he got a haircut on Air Force One. It's ridiculous. Bridge in San Francisco.
Shields have failed.
City. To make a statement against power. I like punch up, I never punch down. And that's I like members. You know, as and a year later, he's punched his way up to the top of Chicago radio. But he's soon taking swings at an out-of-town heavyweight. There is a page of private parts and it just says, don't fuck with Stern. And that's true. He's in some competition. He's been professional hard. When his dad dies, he learns what it's like to be messed with by Stern. He's a man how to come on the air with me. That means, see, you tell him that his daddy, his dead daddy, I've got it. I am from Chicago because my mom was like, my mom was a $20,000 a year captain. And he became the #1 popular start show for a year. You know, down to his death, obviously the sex with my mother. Now it was down. My mother's saliva. When himself, he raped me.
Enemies in front!
Take him down! This is some entertainer. All of these things, it's nice. I burn it out. Switching to intensity. And have sex with his maggot-infested body. Eerie. What is that? That type of demonic evil. This is wrong. They should have shot your mom so he didn't have to be disgraced knowing that his son created a mental They just lost their phone. He starts saying things. I don't want anybody to think that this is my concept. Yes, people called me and apologized. The joke man, Jackie, you know, like this. This isn't funny. They will tell them. You should stay. This time, he's taking on a DJ that he's been emasculated. The man now returns.
No shields.
Locks off. We send it back. That really pissed out. Disgust and hatred for this guy. Stern is so enraged by the box index that he calls the man cow during the morning broadcast, and they have it out live on the air. Is that you? Yeah. I fought head to head. I didn't fight their families, all this kind of stuff.
Find Jack. Full alert. Find Jack.
There are rules. There's decorum. There's class. None of my competitors had their wives commit suicide. Okay? I'm better than you. I'm funnier than you. And guess what? Listen to this, guys. Listen to him. Mr. Pace and Rest. I was intimidated by Man Cow. Man Cow knew just to keep yelling and talking and talking.
All guards to cell block 1.
It was a battle royale. It was the greatest battle in radio history, and the people of Chicago went click. They turned them off.
You're valuable, Shepard. I could have sold you and lived like a king.
Never came close. Turns out there was more people.
But you're too much trouble. At least I can recapture Jack.
Good actually won for one. The man
Not happy.
The only one
You're a two-bit slave trader, and I don't have time for it.
I do the hard things civil governments are unwilling to. This is for the good of the galaxy.
It's just a Peter Stern even more to this guy in advance. He made up to buy his second.
My shields are down.
In 1997, Stern placed himself in the application of his first private parts. I like that you're the prototype that was like standing up. Stern fans were rabid. They would show up in masses. Be on the train commuting. You would hear people talking about it. I would hear it all the time. Here he is, this guy. It's so strong. To assure himself with the world's smallest penis contest. Two rash young Stern disciples against their one rival. They don't get Anthony Silver just but in an effort to outthink Stern. Here they are. It's the teen girls. Step too far. Shock jock to an all-time low. But if former Stern fans should even see what they're about. Okay, if they're young male listeners want to show it goes further. That's what I see. Women's breasts. Yeah, they finally got me stuttering. Fuck. Stop! Women's breasts, yes. Yes. If the audience didn't want it, they wouldn't be doing it. It was at a time in our country's history when we wanted something crazy. We wanted something to shock us. And for better or for worse, we fucking got it with Opie and Anthony.
My name is Matt Provenzano, and I'm the creator of Shock Jocks, The Rise and Fall of Opie and Anthony. When I created the podcast, I started to discover what brought them to the forefront of radio, and then it hit the fan, so to speak.
I just saved your ass. He was already dead.
In
You
the
just
90s,
didn't know it.
everyone in
Now,
Long Island knew
what the
who
hell
Opie
do
was.
you want?
Greg Opie Hughes was the small-time radio disc jockey, and Anthony Cumia was an air conditioning unit installer, and he wanted to get into comedy.
Anthony had a band, and that's how the two became friends. They were die-hard fans of Howard Stern, and then it just evolved from there, and the two together. What a great chemistry.
My name is Shepard, and I'm
Whoa,
here to get
what?
this ship. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh,
with you.
why?
You're Cerberus.
You're a dork.
I'm working with Cerberus for now because they can help. With them, for them. You show up in a Cerberus frigate to take me away somewhere? You think I'm stupid? This ship is going down in flames. I've got the only way out. I'm offering to take you with me. And you're arguing.
They could just knock her out and take her.
I'd like to see you try.
Opie and Anthony start reporting the story that Mayor Menino of Boston at the time was dead.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, what happened to Menino? I was about to take a talk. My coworker said he's dead. Yeah, he was in a car accident in Florida.
They treated it like a real news story.
He's really dead?
Yeah, head-on collision.
Wow.
What Tony told Opie and Anthony was that Mayor Menino was actually on a flight while this entire thing was happening. So no one was able to contact him, including his family.
Opie
Look,
and
you want me
Anthony
to come
have
with
been
you?
fired
Make it
for
worth
telling their
my
listeners
while.
Boston Mayor Menino died in a car accident. Several of Menino's family members heard the report and thought it was true.
But like when Howard was fired from WNBC, the notoriety helps Opie and Anthony quickly land another gig doing afternoons
Tell
in
me
New
what
York
you're
City.
thinking.
On
I bet your ship's got locked.
WNEW in the
You
same
want me on your
city
team?
and network
Let
of
me go through those
stations
databases.
as Howard Stern.
So now Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern are under the same roof. Do they become friends? Do they all collaborate?
Shepard, you're not authorized to do that.
They
It
fucking
upsets
hate each
the
other.
truth.
Okay,
You better.
we're back.
So why the hell are we
And,
standing here? Move out.
I have some more. I'm being ripped off again, Robbie. Ultimately, they saw what Howard Stern did to John DeBella and Mancow. They knew the only way to beat Howard is to go on the attack. You see, another blatant example of how they're ripping me off. No one's ever ripped me anymore. That was obviously a blatant rip-off of me, the king of everything. And they started to get immense
Welcome to the
popularity.
Normandy, Jack. I'm Miranda, Shepard's second in command.
They
On
fed
this
off
ship,
it.
we
They
follow
made their
orders.
fans go
Tell
to
the
Howard
Cerberus
Stern
cheerleader
events
to
and
back
flash
off,
flip them
Shepard.
out Wednesday
I'm here because
stickers.
of our
They would say
deal.
wow, and if the female fans of the show will see it, they would flash you their boobs. You know, they would bully Howard Stern and his family.
Howard,
Get settled in and I'll give you access soon. Right. Might want to hurry on that. You know the damage I can do inside a frigate?
Do I need to put her in the holding cells? Just to be safe?
Yeah. No thanks, precious. I'll find my own place. Somewhere near the bottom. I don't like through traffic. Don't keep me waiting, Shepard.
The intern beauty contest. I thought, how did you not get sued for that? It's just like 18, 19-year-old interns that are like just out of high school, and you're parading them around in thongs.
Well, listen, you look beautiful. Let me tell you, you're wearing a...
Oh, it's fair with the sweater.
shirt.
That's kind of like, well, then creepy. Like, what? How did you know? But no one said
What's
anything
this
about
area
it.
of the ship?
This is the armory, where small arms are
So
maintained
fun
and
trying to
upgraded.
just
Using
stop on
Omni
the
tool,
line, but not
computer-aided
go over it.
design and
I
manufacturing,
don't know
we have the
where is
capability
the
to
line.
manufacture
That
several
is
new...
Howard Stern is hammering.
Commander, there hasn't been time to really settle in and take stock. I want to say
girls
that
I'm
working with
working
you is a
with
great
David,
opportunity to do
but
something that
These
matters.
college
It's a privilege to serve on the Normandy,
like
Commander.
sex objects. It's like
You're here because you're
shit, that'll never
Cerberus.
happen again.
Don't expect special
Come up with
treatment.
more. Come up with
Understood.
more. Come up with more.
But not everyone
All these
in the
women
group is
want to come in
hard-wired.
the studio.
I'm
At
an
some
employee
point, we
because
say,
I
all
believe
right,
in their
we're gonna
current
throw
direction.
baloney
Doesn't mean I don't
at
have
their naked
concerns
butts.
about their past actions. Or some of yours.
It was
You watch me, I'll watch you. That suit you?
Stunts like these leave some of the staff questioning the increasingly dehumanizing direction
If you
of the
follow
show.
orders and keep to yourself...
Fair enough, Commander.
Stand back. It's like, what are we doing? But we're not forcing anyone to be here.
I didn't pull up your dress. With your naked ass.
Howard, Jackie, Rodman. You know, we've all participated. Me and the girls up with a fish. Like, we were all on that show. It was inappropriate. I didn't know it at the time.
what it was. Hey, you need a bath. It's that what? Wait, that's it.
I know a lot of people know that it's.
Tell me about you, Jack. I'm still finding out about me.
It was goofy.
Thanks for letting me look at these files. I told you that you could see them later. I get impatient. Bust someone out of prison, they'll probably take what they want.
Sexist and misogynistic. But, you know, that's just
Do not violate the integrity of my ship again. You won't like what happens. Yeah, okay. But I found some interesting stuff. Your friends at Cerberus are into some nasty things. I'm gonna find something I can use. I just know it.
I really enjoyed the fight, but not with Stern and not with Opie and Anthony. Because they were different. They were of the devil.
What if the answers aren't what you expect? I'm not looking for answers. I'm looking for names, dates, places.
Should we bring in the teenagers?
What happens when you find what you're looking for? I go hunting. Anyone who's screwed with me pays. Their associates pay. Their friends pay. The galaxy's gonna be a lot emptier when I'm done.
Here they are. Look at the lovely teen girls. Wow, what are they today?
Teen Week is unfortunately exactly what it sounds like.
I won't let you go on a killing spree. I'm here for your mission. After that, what I do. What's your history with They raised me in a research facility. I escaped when I was a kid. Been on the run ever since. And they've been chasing me ever since. But soon, I'm gonna chase them.
And it was enough that even the listeners were like, oh, this is kind of gross.
The FCC agrees, but if they hope a $27,000 fine will make O&A question their outrageous behavior,
think about this a lot, don't you?
Their
I go
answer
to sleep
comes
with
in
this.
just 2 words.
I wake up with it.
Boy or bus.
Everyone I kill, I pretend it's the ones that did this to me.
It was a bus with big glass walls, and inside of the bus were women, and they were naked.
Oh my God, they're already plastic. There we go. You're gonna fuck you now, just stay naked.
The bus would just drive all around Manhattan.
15 to Carnegie Hall. Carnegie is rolling over in the today.
And
I should go.
They
Yep.
put comedians on the bus to talk about what was happening.
And Jim Martin has some observations.
All right. I can't tell you how turned on I am. The inside of my pants looks like a Bundy crime scene.
Fans of the show were following the bus. And then suddenly the police showed up.
Uh-oh. Major problem. Pulled over by cops. Uh-oh.
The police dragged everyone off the bus and took everyone to jail.
That's stupid. I thought you're going to get arrested if you take your clothes off. You're going to the streets of the city.
But not if you just sponsor the bus. Instead of going to jail, O&A's new notoriety lifts them to #1 in the afternoon. They sign a 3-year, $30 million deal that includes syndication of their show. Their success only seems to fuel Stern's dislike of his young rivals.
Howard Stern met with Mel Karmazin and told Mel, better tell them to shut the fuck up about me. He goes, you want me to leave? I don't think you do.
It's the same move Don Imus pulled on Stern 2 decades earlier.
Suddenly, Opie and Anthony weren't allowed to say Howard's name on the air, or they would get docked money, get fired. And at that moment, I go, who is he to censor anybody? You're the poster child for the FCC. You're the champion of free speech.
But Opie and Anthony don't have to mention Stern's name to outshock him. Millions of their fans tune in for a stunt sponsored by Sam Adams Beer called Sex for Sam.
They would get couples who were fans of the show, and they would have sex in public places. So they would say, oh, we got Sally and John, and she's giving them a hand job in an Applebee's. That's 15 points. And then suddenly, Paul Mercurio calls in. He's a friend of the show. He's a fellow comedian. This is one of the most prominent symbols of Catholicism and faith, arguably in the country. And they were doing what Opie and Anthony called the 2-point conversion in the balloon knot, which means getting fucked in the ass.
We're in St. Pat's, and he's doing the balloon knot inside, and the security guy is coming up to us right now.
sex in the state path. I'm like, oh my God. Being raised Catholic, the level of disrespect is just unconscionable.
25.2 conversion and eternal damnation.
And then the police are called.
Oh boy. Are you legal, isn't it? Well, we'll find out.
Paul Mercurio, the couple, they were arrested.
Millions of tourists come to New York to see the sights, but some visitors saw a lot more than they bargained for. A public sex act between this man, Ryan Florence, and a woman, Marilyn Harpo.
The very next day, Opie and Anthony were fired for the second time.
In addition to being fired, Opie and Anthony are cast into radio purgatory, leaving Howard Stern once again alone on top. But the war between Stern and O&A is far from over.
I hear this is the best place for food on Takara Ward.
Satellite radio.
You heard wrong. This is the best place for food on the whole damn scene.
It was just anything goes.
Now let's take a look. You'll get away with it.
I mean, you couldn't murder anybody. But other than that,
by the 2000s, shock jocks had waged a war for 2 decades on the FM dial.
Good day, my friends. Welcome to the Citadel.
You know, for a bunch of cheap touristy crap, your prices are pretty high.
I am sorry you feel that way. There are many stores on the Citadel. Perhaps another would be more in your price range.
So you're saying I'm poor?
What? No,
Hey, everyone. This store discriminates against the poor.
Please, calm down. As an apology, I'll let you have my station employee discount. Is that acceptable?
All right. But you still hurt my feelings.
Please, enjoy your shopping experience.
This is completely out of control.
But there are no more rules battle for dominance.
They despise each other.
We'll end up destroying Shock Jock Radio for good.
A source reports that the attack on the human colony of Freedom's Progress is being investigated as a possible terrorist attack by dissidents from former council races. While no formal statement has been issued, the council has made formal information requests of the Solarian
Anything about Howard's, it's the
Fears of an uncontrolled plague in the streets of Omega have been laid to rest as the disease is known.
The people want to hear...
Police have been seen in Al
The two
Jilani,
competing
Western
satellite
Illinois.
radio companies, Sirius and XM, threaten terrestrial radio's future, one that grows
I
much
interviewed you 2 years ago when you first became inspector. You presented your case very well on camera. Do you have a minute?
Technology, I believe it's real business, and I believe it's the future of
Sorry,
broadcasting.
don't remember. But the people remember
Howard's not
that.
the
Your
first
news.
shock jock to make the jump to satellite
If
radio.
true, you told Admiral Hackett
Howard's
to
disciples
abandon the
turned
Destiny
haters
Ascension.
are
I've had
already
enough of your
broadcasting on
disingenuous
XM
assertions.
After being kept off radio for 2 years for encouraging a couple to copulate
Wish
on
I'd done
air.
that the first time we met. You bitch! I'll make sure everyone in the Alliance sees that.
Yes, we got our freedom back in.
Check Vid. Did we get it?
Opie and Anthony needed an audience. They craved attention. Now it's Opie and Anthony versus Howard Stern. Yet again.
How does it feel?
Captain Hannah Shepard has apparently turned
Years
down
of
an
crap
Admiral
he
Stern
gave us,
and will
you
remain in
tool.
command of the Orison.
Have you tried Galaxy of Fantasy yet?
I love that game. Helped along by something that happened 9 months earlier at Super Bowl 38. The game airs on CBS, owned by Viacom, the same company that owns Howard's radio station.
The biggest show of the year in any genre. One channel, one event, everybody watching. It's almost mystical.
I heard that those lakes up on the Presidium are filled with fish.
I'm in William Shatner's house. We're watching the Super Bowl. And William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Spock and Kirk are arguing over double dipping. Spock double dip, I'm not kidding. And all of a sudden, Shatner goes, boom, boom. Did you see that?
I mean, who would expect that a Super Bowl halftime would become a
Greetings, Ed Clad. You will find many excellent ships for sale here.
Turned to me and said, "Man,
Only slightly used, yes.
for you." And boy, did they use that as an excuse for censorship. But Janet Jackson, now my ship will not just deal in teams.
This what passes for food out here. My tastes run more along the lines of edible. Looks like.
Welcome back. There's a Carol Ward Market.
That's all for now.
Thank you for using Avena.
Michael
Have a
Harrison,
pleasant
and
day.
in the 2000s, I was owning radio stations on the radio, running Talkers
Sorry,
magazine.
I'm trying to
There's
I need. It was a poor choice of words, sir.
I'll see if I can find out.
You'll do all we can.
Let's go.
Be careful out there.
Vigilant. And everybody in the broadcast business was super panicked about what it meant.
Is everything at first now?
Here in Chicago,
Good day,
Mancom
citizen.
Mueller is raunchy
Welcome to
brand
the
of
Serta
warning.
Foundation
Madness
outlet
is
on
run
the
afoul
Care
of the
Award.
FCC.
I'd say everybody's on their best behavior right now, because if they're not on their best behavior, they're going to be
I bet you don't
unemployed.
make many
With their
sales.
livelihoods at risk,
This ward isn't
terrestrial
exactly the
radio
Presidium.
shock jocks
Not a
unite
big
in
market
their
for
mission
expensive
to
tech
protect
here.
free
The
speech.
foundation
I
is
have
not
free
concerned with
speech carved in
profits.
my flesh.
A portion
Okay?
of our
It's the most
sales
important
funds
issue in
research to
America.
cure genetic
We lose that, we've
diseases.
lost everything.
That's a noble
My man
goal.
Cal Mueller,
But
and
maybe
in
if
the
you took off a
2000s,
few
I was
percentage
doing the
points,
best
sales would
radio,
improve enough to offset the balance.
I cannot hold a sale without permission from the district manager.
How about for
Free
one
speech first.
special
I mean, it's
customer
hard
with a
to
large
flash.
credit account?
I live and
Someone
die
like
by it,
Commander
so-
Shepard, hero of the
Yeah.
Citadel.
I know what I'm talking about.
You're
Even the
Shepard.
king of all media,
I
Howard
didn't even
Stern, is
think
feeling the heat when Clear
Well,
Channel
you must
pulls
get
them
injured
several
frequently on your
stations until he
missions.
cleans up
I
his
could give you
act.
my employee discount if it would
So
encourage you to make a large
Stern,
purchase.
me,
It would
and
certainly
others
encourage me.
decided that
Please,
we were
browse our
gonna
catalog.
Fight censorship.
As radio's bad boys gear up to battle the FCC, Congress drags Viacom CEO Mel Karmazin before them to answer questions.
Yesterday, the head of our company had a kiss me
Oh, what's this?
and kowtow to a bunch of bureaucrats because Janet
Good day,
Jackson married
citizen.
her president.
I'm just browsing.
Come back soon.
What do you think, Michael? Maybe the immunobooster? It's
Paul,
supposed to help with...
this one congressman from New Mexico starts crying.
The playground.
Welcome to Sarin.
Do I know you?
No, but I know you. Even a senile Hanar would remember the human who fought off the Geth. I thought you were
Yeah, I've been
dead.
getting that a lot.
Please, look around the store. It's a pleasure to have you here.
You knew what you were doing,
You know,
and you
I'm on a
wanted
very
us all
important
to
mission
be a
right
buzz. Here
I
in
doubt
this
it.
room,
The savior of the
and on the
Citadel would get
playground,
nothing
my kid's
less.
school.
And the problem is the damn bureaucrats. They won't get me the latest astrographic data. You can't save the galaxy with star charts from 2183, right?
2183? Why don't they just give you a slide rule and ask you to eyeball it?
Exactly. That's why I need a reliable supplier who can sell me updates at wholesale.
Wholesale? Of course, Shepard.
Was satellite radio.
Ah, my favorite customer. What can I do?
List was in.
I didn't know if you- If you see him, tell him I have it here by me.
So far, plenty of folks are seeing
I'll
its
be here if you
praises,
need anything.
but is the buzz a good thing?
Satellite radio, FM radio, it becomes what is it? I'm Lee Abrams, and in
Battalion hierarchy has announced that it will not limit its dreadnought production to previous totals,
XM radio
citing an
sounds
increased
like a
need for security in the wake of the deaths of previous council members.
free, free of censorship. And the rest of
Ever had ramen? It's a delicacy back here.
Please move
You
along.
forgot your credit sheet.
I'll get a permanent residence, or I'll run you in for vagrancy.
Are you too serious? You falsely accused me.
How about if I run you in for
I think both of you
son of a...
Convince one of them to make the move to satellite.
What the hell was that CSAT
FM
call?
radio's biggest name, Howard Stern.
He had a meeting with himself, CEO, his manager. He said, this is the future. I can get this into radio location in every city. Today, our CEO insulted him.
The XM CEO makes the mistake of comparing what Howard does on the air to his old rival, Don Imus.
Well, we didn't turn him off.
We're gonna blow.
There's a way to deal with folks like that. Our CEO didn't get that. That was a tough day.
Failed to find Howard. Bring FM radio's two biggest pariahs back from the dead.
Opie and Anthony became a factor when the others in management wanted a competitor to Stern. My feeling was they're talented, but there's only one Stern.
When XM Radio comes calling, Opie and Anthony have been off the air for 2 years.
That 2 years was agony. They were being paid to stay off radio. My name is Matt Provenzano, and I'm the creator of Shock Jocks, The Rise and Fall of Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony were damaged goods. They did nothing.
Especially with each other.
They didn't hang out, they didn't grab lunch. They did not see each other for 2 years. The relationship between Opie and Anthony was, at this point, just Splitsville.
Holiday's falling out had its roots back on their FM radio show when Anthony's marriage broke up over a fan named Melinda. She first comes on air to save a lobster by giving a sexual favor to a crew member.
Melinda! Hey, what's up? A lot of people are amazed that you spent 7 to 12 minutes in a closet with a complete stranger to save a lobster.
Yeah, well, that's me.
She would come on the show and show her boobs. She'd do the whole nine. And Anthony was obsessed with her.
You can't even get onto the website because people are just trying to check out your picture.
I haven't even been able to see her yet.
My wife Jen helped me pick out the good ones.
Did she?
Yeah, last night we were sitting on the couch and she was like, yeah, it's a good one. She's kind of cute.
Now known as Lobster Girl, Anthony and his wife are soon doing more together than just looking at her photos.
Anthony and his wife would take Melinda home, and they would have threesomes all the time. This eventually led to Anthony's divorce.
Hey, support. They're looking yesterday. Writing another check. Guys get screwed.
So now Anthony was with Melinda, his new girlfriend, and he's happy. But Opie's not happy because Anthony was bringing Melinda to the radio station every day. It's like the Beatles practicing and Yoko Ono was just sitting there watching. Opie wouldn't look at her. He was downright rude. And he went to his agent and he said, I quit. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. And Bob Eatman said, are you crazy? You're going to become millionaires. Is there anything we can do to salvage this? And Opie said, there's this guy, Jim Norton. And he was brought into the show and provided a buffer between Opie and Anthony.
Hey, idiots.
Jimmy was an incredible talent.
Hey, idiots. It's going to be one now. We're on XM, remember?
I'm Tim Sabian, and I had the opportunity to work with Howard Stern for 26 years. Jimmy created this other dynamic, very quick-witted and smart.
On October 4th, 2004, Jim Norton joins O&A when they launched their new show on XM Satellite Radio.
What a great way to start our brand new careers at XM Satellite Radio, ripping over ourselves. What a cluster F!
The threesome immediately unleashed an offensive barrage against Howard Stern and his family.
I saw a picture of him hanging out with a couple of his daughters, and one's just got the biggest set of tits on it. Big Jewish tits, right? Yeah, go drive her off to college. You know what happens there? Legs akimbo in the dorm room. Howard's daughter, aren't you?
2 days later, Howard upstages O&A's resurgence by announcing he'll be leaving terrestrial radio in 15 months to join the rival satellite company, Sirius.
I changed radio when I got into this 20-something years ago, and I'm going to change radio again.
There was a big level of excitement. Was it going to work? Was it going to be a failure? Were the masses going to follow him? I am Doug Goodstein. I am the former executive producer of Howard TV and also Howard Stern On Demand. When there's something new like that, it really puts you on the edge of your seat. You don't know what to expect.
Stuck on FM's K-Rock until his contract expires, Howard spends his final months on terrestrial radio taunting the FCC.
Toss. Oh my God. What a view.
As for Opie and Anthony, Howard's imminent arrival on satellite encourages them to get an early start on the all-out, no-holds-barred war to come.
And Howard threatened, like, I'll get your ex-wife on the show. Oh, really? What do you think would be more entertaining? You talking about my divorce or me talking about yours? Allison. I'm crying.
In the early 2000s, Howard Stern's divorce with his wife Allison is generating media headlines. But just as Howard ridiculed rival John DeBella's divorce 10 years earlier,
By the end, did you hate spreading to him?
I have also accessed messages between mercenary groups regarding
Howard
plans to
Stern
deal with
rivals
Archangel.
Opie and Anthony
There's a recruiting
gleefully
station in
mock his
Afterlife
marital
that may have
issues.
What a
information on
treat
him.
that must have been to live with Howard Stern for Allison. Whatever money she got, it probably wasn't enough to live with that.
The Shepherd Memorial on a cruise is expected to open once the area is declared safe for visitors. Admiral Stephen
With this move to satellite approaching, Howard's quietly dating model Beth Ostrowski, 18 years his junior. Eventually, the couple talks publicly about their relationship.
It's all about him. We watch TV when he wants to watch. We eat. We wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We go to bed at 8. We love it though. It's my life.
It's also something O&A can't stop talking about.
All it showed me when I found out the details was Daddy should have spent a little more time. Too busy walking to Vincent's with his...
A source reports that the attack on the human colony
with your
of
tiny
Freedom's
little
Progress
rat dog.
is being investigated
Never
as a
seen a
possible
bigger
terrorist
in my
attack
life.
by dissidents from
Six
former
guys
council
walking
races.
a rat
While
dog.
no formal statement
As for Howard, huge financial incentives to make his switch to Sirius a success, he's focused on promoting his show, including Katie Couric.
I'm really excited about this.
What about the Scotch-Brady carpet or any funny games involving whipped cream?
Katie, you know the truth of the Howard Stern Show. Anything goes.
We all just were excited. We were all really loyal to Howard. And we just want to make this thing the best on the radio side and the TV side.
But not all of Howard's longtime staff members will be joining him at Sirius, because despite his show's phenomenal success, they say Howard hasn't shared the wealth.
Here's Howard making countless millions of dollars. A lot of the guys weren't getting paid well. You know, it was frightening what was going on. I'm Jackie the Joke Man Martling. I was with the Howard Stern Show from 1983
I'm on the mission.
till 2001.
I hope you're ready. Archangel's been annihilating you freelancers.
It was crazy.
Ready when you are.
We were on at like 20 to 30 syndicated markets. And I was making $20,000 a year. I'm stuttering John Melendez, and I worked on the Howard Stern Show for 15 years. Can you imagine living on a $20,000 a year salary? But as Jackie and Joke Man always said,
They tore all apart, and they leave the crumbs for all of us. What they were paying Stuttering John was a crime. You know what I mean? It was just cheap, and you know, it just was icky.
Baba was making $30,000 a year. Steve Grillo, he was making nothing.
They didn't get paid for 5 years, and I wasn't even going to school anymore. My name's Steve Grillo. I used to work on the Howard Stern Show back from 91 to 98. I was his favorite intern, and about 6 years into it, I started getting paid like 30 hours a week at minimum wage, which was like $6.35 at that time. So I got paid for 30 hours, and I was working like 60. And I asked Tom Giussano to get paid for 40 hours. Because if they paid me for 40, I qualified for health insurance. And he wouldn't give me a raise. He said, you'll get the company standard raise, which was 20%. So I'm like, that's like $1.20. Like, what? So now I get $7.10? And I see Howard. I go, Tom's not going to give me a raise. He goes, yeah, well, that's just Tom. That's a horrible way to do it. Not stand up for your employee that's carried for the past 8 years. You're making $1 million an hour, and I have to go like work at a nightclub in order to survive. And this is the moment I knew I was going to leave. That man's not going to stick up for me. I'm out. And that's what I left.
Good luck to you out there in the cold, cruel world. You're going to need it. You have very low IQ, and I know that's tough out there.
Howard's also coldly indifferent when one of his longest collaborators decides to leave, after failing to get the raise he believes he's earned.
I was making a lot of money, but I drew a line in the sand, and what I asked for was not crazy, but there was no way they were going to pay that, and I probably knew that. You're beyond rich and successful, and you have somebody sitting next to you that makes you enjoy that job much more. And you let him go because he asked for more money, especially when you're friends. It boggles the mind.
Jackie Martling has left the show. He has walked out, much to my chagrin, after 15 years. Out of all of us, he's the only guy who can't figure out how to get a new contract without walking out.
He's got all the listeners calling me cheap.
I don't understand why he has to do that to get what he wants.
Well, that's our point. I mean, who are you striking at? Tom doesn't care if you walk out.
And he just crows and crows about how he's the most loyal guy in the world, which, you know, it's funny.
At the end of the search, I didn't make 75,000, 85,000 a year. After 15 years, I left to go to Jay Leno to make 350, 400,000 a year. I got kids.
We have our new announcer today. New announcer, Tom Melendez today. And I must say,
accolades. Hey, good luck. Congrats. Not Howard Stern. Yeah, someone.
Instead, John's last appearance on the show is spent listening to Howard take credit for John's success.
I mean, Jay's taking something that he never would have put on the air in the first place. The fact that John was on our show. And never would have hired John ever. Not out of college, certainly. Mel was talking to me about that. He goes, John's a traitor. And he said, he's dead to me.
You know, he couldn't just let me evolve and be happy.
It's about time they sent me someone who looks like they can actually
Howard's
fight.
final K-Rock show is a glitzy celebrity
You bet.
send-off.
I'm ready to go.
Me with you?
I'm on my own. I don't need any help. Just tell me where to go.
Right. Just head through there. I'm
Makes
sure
a
you'll
triumphant
find
walk
your
from
way.
his former terrestrial home to his
I'm
new
on it.
studio at Sirius. But he's met by legions of disruptive Opie and Anthony fans.
They tell you what we're up against?
Just tell us where to go.
Archangel's hold up. He's got superior, but he's getting tired, making mistakes.
I'll get to him. Just point me at that
I like
bridge.
your attitude. You'll be on a distraction team.
Sounds a bit like a suicide
Pretty
watch.
much. But head up to the boulevard and get to the third barricade. Talk to Sergeant Kafka. He'll tell you when to go in.
I better go find Sergeant Kafka.
Good idea. Watch yourself on the boulevard. Archangel's killed dozens out there already.
Getting in is the easy part. Getting out is risky. Let's worry about finding him first.
On January 9th, 2006, Mr. Zulu makes the announcement.
And now, free from terrestrial radio, no more bullshit. Howard Stern.
Shepard, I've scanned the area, but I am unable to plot any
And
other
Howard
paths
is
to Archangel.
officially on air. at
Guess we're going with
Sirius.
the Mercs.
World
Heavy
of
mechs production
censor-free
possess
satellite
considerable
radio.
firepower.
Once again, Opie and Anthony intruded Howard's moment by goofing on their one-time role model's satellite debut.
A lot of excitement because Howard's starting his satellite radio career.
As the first wave goes
Hear
in,
the
the
excitement.
infiltration team will attempt to take Archangel by surprise. Do you need something?
You lead the Eclipse?
Figure that out. I'm Jareth. I run Omega's Eclipse.
I'll get going.
Good idea.
It's so funny when we were doing our farewell show, I felt bad for Opie and Anthony. They're so desperate to be famous. 10 or 20 fans.
Make it quick.
Howard Stern wasn't innocent
Life
in all of this
expectancy.
either. He just
Look
dismissed
around.
them.
We've
He would just call them my clones down the
Where did he
street.
come from?
Even his tapes. Maybe we'll know more once we have his blood.
I'll get going.
As soon as you
Good
saw
idea.
that crowd of Opie and Anthony fans were your fucking event, your face, even though you've had a facelift basically, was melting.
But Howard gets the last laugh. Millions of his fans subscribe to Sirius to experience the uncensored king of all media.
Howard Stern's $500 million deal, he was underpaid. I remember that Sirius went from 700,000 subscribers to over 2.5 million subscribers in the first year that it was announced. It grew from there.
The big difference was that the television show was now going to be uncensored as well.
Look, take off your bra and let me get a look at these beauties.
Before, we would always do mosaic and blur the nudity, and it's like, now we don't have to.
Let him take a look at the movies. Just take a big swallow and do it. See, like those are real, right?
Now broadcasting on the Anything Goes world of satellite radio, Howard's libido is completely unleashed.
It says here you want to ride the Civian? Is that true?
I don't know.
And he's about to shock and awe America with his most outrageous stunt yet.
That should slow them down. Perfect. It'll be hostile if
This
they
is going to
activate
be a
it.
lot of fun. We're in for a good time. It's called the Civian Talent Contest.
Howard Stern's new unregulated and uncensored shows on satellite radio and on-demand TV allow him to introduce the world to something called the Sibian machine.
The Sibian machine was this creepy gadget that some old guy invented that was a vibrating seat to give women orgasms.
I want to set this down on the floor on a pad, and I want to hold her while she uses it.
So I was like, well, that's a little creepy, and that guy has too much time in his hands.
It's an old guy. Help him. Dave, you need a condom?
On the censored terrestrial show, you hear vibrating and stuff, and it's like theater of the mind.
Dave is working the controls, and he's hugging Raven Alexis, and he's talking to her.
And when it went to Power TV on demand, it all was seen in real life. Let her go. What are we doing? Like, this is crazy.
What is the line between funny and offensive? Not for you or I to decide. Not for anyone to decide. If people are listening to it, they have a right to listen to it. If we're going to have free speech, we have to have things that are ugly.
Rafe, what happened? Get Dave off.
The government has no right to come in and tell any or me or anyone else. It's not for you. These shows were done for adult men.
That is officially the creepiest thing ever.
People say, oh my God, this must have been the craziest show to work on. It was a business. There was never any shenanigans going on. And when the microphones went off, if someone was sitting there naked, here's a towel. Here's your clothes. Get dressed.
Howard's new everything gets shown world doesn't stop young women from risking
All right then. Guess I'll be going.
Some people showed up sometimes for these crazy segments. And they'd be like, okay, let's do it. Like,
whoa. Somebody that looks great.
You also came in for Playboy evaluations. You opened yourself for some major scrutiny in here.
Now, great face. Great body.
Oops. That's my downfall.
Do you mind taking off your top so Kevin can see?
I'll do it.
Some people who came in for that, they were not ready for the critiques and the criticism. What it's
whether you're ready for Playboy or not.
Exactly. Is she ready for Artie?
Say you're ready.
No. People wanted to be there because they thought they would get some fame out of it, and probably in hindsight, they felt like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Howard hopes serious gain in XM and the subscriber race. Both companies are losing money from the cost of launching satellites, expensive programming, and competition from other media.
Podcasting, the latest internet phenomenon.
This might be useful.
Fragmented onto the internet and onto podcasts and onto smartphones. It was less and less audience for the satellite radio.
As podcasts become a new millennium phenomenon, things like Howard fight for listeners by getting louder.
I'm looking for Sergeant Kafka.
You and me both, Liz. He's over there working up. We'll go over the bridge when he gives the word. Go talk to him if you want, but I'm in no hurry.
Opie and Anthony went
Because
to their
I'm
show
not
at
stupid.
K-Rock in the morning. Afterwards, they would walk down the block to another station at XM, and they broadcasted that walk over.
This is a short little guy. Where Jimmy? Look at this.
But their walkovers attracted crowd. What is this? And now it's Opie and Anthony coming face to face with Howard's fans.
I just want to say, Howard Stern has a huge cock, and I love him.
All right. The audience would love to take sides.
What do you want, freelancer?
Right? Yeah, pick me up. Let's go. Have a nice one. Get your ass.
I don't want excuses.
To
Tell
point,
Kafka to
and
get
then
that
it
gun.
gets to
Get
be
this freelancer out of here.
And
I
I
don't
think
have
it's
time
been
for
gone
this
too
shit.
far.
While Howard's fans stay shots at Opie and Anthony, O&A take their own against the most vulnerable targets they encounter on the streets.
Are you a little drunk?
No, I'm not drunk, but I had a couple of beers.
There was a homeless guy that hung out outside of the
What's your
studio.
problem?
Homeless Andrew.
Get this gun out of my
Every
face.
single day they would interview him, and one day on the walk
Over here.
he pulls out a cake.
Next wave's going soon. Shouldn't you be outside getting ready?
I have some questions first.
What do you want to know?
Never mind. Maybe we'll just get going.
Good idea. Make sure you check in with Kafka. What do you need? Good idea. The sooner you guys get through, the sooner the...
Visibly distraught. He goes, I heard that, man.
You're either really brave or really
And
stupid.
Jim are laughing in his face. And it's just as horrible as
Kafka?
And then we were laughing for 20. Oh,
people would try to use this as fuel to try to get him fired. Is it
Sergeant
too much?
Kafka.
Let's see, it's going too far. But it never works in getting OP fired.
He must be the group Salk you mentioned.
As one
Just
of
in
Ringo's
time.
original shock jocks,
Are you waiting for us?
discovers when he
The
crosses it.
infiltration team is about to give us a signal. Archangel won't know I hit him. Got any questions? This may be your last chance.
Howard Stern and sidekick Robin Quivers and then pile on by accusing Highness of using the N-word.
One thing I will say about him is he will
Are you leading the assault?
to your face.
Ha! Tarek doesn't pay me to fight. I just plan the attacks and fix the damn gunship. You freelancers get the privilege of...
Target is in sight. Where to go?
Even she had to stop.
Check.
What did
Bravo
you
team,
say?
go, go, go!
The N-word or did
He did the N-word.
But Opie and Anthony defend their pal.
our pal's a little trouble.
Archangel's got quite a surprise waiting for him. But that means no more waiting for me.
Of course, he was fired.
Gotta get her back to 100% before Tarek decides he needs her again.
From the competition, and all was forgotten. But not quite. The Imus firing is a warning shot to Shock Jock Radio. And when Opie...
You're working too hard.
Shut the fuck up.
He absolutely did. We got
Archangel's in trouble.
Well, let's not wait around too
What's
long.
your name, bro? Charlie. Charlie, how'd you end up on the streets?
In their never-ending quest to grow their satellite radio audience by pushing boundaries, Opie and Anthony bring a family
Come on,
called
we'll
Homeless
give these guys a
Charlie on the
surprise of
show.
our own.
Enemies in front!
Fucking two motherfuckers.
Wow. Immediately offensive. He starts going off on this rant how he wants to rape and beat Condoleezza Rice, who was the U.S. Secretary of State at the time. Stop. And George Bush and Opie and Anthony thought it was hilarious and they were repeating it.
I can imagine the horror in Condoleezza Rice's face as you were just like holding her down and fucking her.
Then you have to mount the guy I was firing, even own and suspect they may have gone too far. Taking heavy fire! They're right to be worried. Well, a half-hearted apology for the incident.
Yeah, we apologize and regret any offense that this segment has caused.
There was a major debate in the news and on talk stations. Are we morally reprehensible for allowing these two to go on the radio and spout this bullshit?
After their suspension, Opie and Anthony returned to the airwaves unrepentant.
Archangel?
Well, hello. Good morning.
Well, all publicity is good publicity. After their suspension, ONA's ratings in New York City take a big hit. Just as there's a seismic shift happening in the world of satellite radio. Sirius and XM, each facing bankruptcy due to the...
Shepard. I thought you were dead.
What are you doing here?
Good to see you too.
I'm just surprised to see you.
You and me both. Still, it's good to see a friendly face. Killing bugs is hard work, especially on my own.
Well, we got here, but I don't think getting out will be as easy.
No, it won't. That bridge has saved my life, funneling all those witless idiots into the scope. But it works both ways. They'll slaughter us if we try to get out that way.
So we just sit here and wait to take us out?
It's not all that bad. This place has held them off so far. And 3 of you. I suggest we hold this location, wait for a crack in their defenses, take our chances. It's not a perfect plan, but it's a plan.
I didn't like sneaking anyway. Time to spill a little merc blood.
Glad to see you haven't changed. Let's see what they're up to. Looks like they know their infiltration failed. Take a look. Scouts. Eclipse, I think.
More than scouts. One less now, though.
Indeed. We better get ready. I'll stay up here. I can do a lot of damage from this vantage point. You can do what you do best. Just like old times, Shepard. Let's give these bastards everything they got.